Today we journey to a corner of the world where customs and human relationships are arranged in a way entirely different from what we know. An ancient society challenging conventions. We speak of the Wabi, a tribe from the desert in West Africa, renowned not only for its history and rituals, but also for its singular perspective on life, relationships, and power. This is one of the rare cultures on Earth in which women hold absolute authority over their husbands. Their sexual liberty is almost boundless, and men continually vie for their attention. Yet even more intriguing is their distinctive conception of life, love, and interpersonal bonds. Would you like to discover their radically different viewpoint on love, sexuality, and personal connections? Welcome to the captivating story of the Wabi, a tribe that reimagines everything we believe about love, marriage, and authority. The Wabi form a subgroup of the Fulani, one of Africa's most ancient peoples, originating in a region known as spanning several countries such as Nigeria, Cameroon, and Chad. They are called the desert herders, for their way of life revolves around livestock, particularly camels and cattle, famous for their remarkable endurance and adaptability to the harsh desert climate. The Wabi preserve a strong cultural identity. They speak their own language and maintain a multitude of traditions passed down through generations. Although their history is closely tied to migrations and the search for pastures, the true hallmark of this tribe lies in its unique social system, especially regarding family life and sexuality. Unlike many peoples around the world, the Wabi embrace a matriarchy. Women stand at the center of all decisions, especially those concerning romantic relationships and marriage. While in many traditional societies, the man holds the leading role within the family, among the Wabi it is the woman who decides whom to marry. Men must exert every effort to charm the chosen one, for it is solely her prerogative to select her companion. In this system, a man may have several wives, yet only the woman determines whether to retain her current husband or replace him. One of the most striking manifestations of this dynamic is the ceremony, the tribe's most important annual event. At the festival each year, Wabi men compete for the favor of the women. What lies at the heart of this contest? Men prepare for months. They don their finest attire, paint their faces, and take part in a dance procession where they must exhibit their beauty, charisma, physical stamina, and capacity to attract women's attention. The competition assesses not only appearance but also grace, agility, and charm. Every gesture, glance, and smile matters, for the woman alone decides with whom she will spend her life, or at least a certain period. Continuing the account of the Wabi, note the pronounced emphasis in their society on female autonomy. Unlike many other cultures, women not only choose their husband but may simultaneously have multiple spouses. In their system, this is neither unusual nor frowned upon. Women may change partners at will and even engage in relationships outside marriage without reproach. For them, marriage does not become a bond of compulsion, but rather an alliance founded upon attraction, desire, and personal benefit. Even within a polygamous arrangement, Wabi wives retain independence, dignity, and sexual freedom. They are seldom tied to a single man, granting them a degree of autonomy that many women worldwide can only dream of. In the context of the Wabi tribe, the concept of sexual freedom occupies a central place. While men may have multiple wives, women hold absolute power over their private lives. They may be married to different men concurrently and maintain extramarital relationships without violating tribal norms. This freedom, deemed taboo in other societies, represents a natural part of life for the Wabi. Moreover, the status of an unmarried woman among the Wabi is viewed differently. The unmarried possess the right to choose their partner and enjoy enviable independence. They are not bound by marital obligations or familial duties. Such autonomy is exceptional even by traditional standards. Imagine a society where love and desire are not shackled by obligatory fidelity, where women are not regarded as the private property of a single man, and where their wishes are not confined by rigid marital frameworks. Among the Wabi, this is the lived reality. Women are sovereign over their love lives, and the customary rules of fidelity or monogamy simply do not apply. When we speak of free love, we do not refer to superficial or casual liaisons, but to a radical freedom in which love manifests as an act of autonomy rather than a compulsory vow to a single individual. In this tribe, jealous control over relationships, a sense of ownership commonplace in many cultures, is replaced by a profoundly human and natural perception of sexuality. Desire is not suppressed, it is celebrated. There is no need to conceal extramarital affairs, for there is no censure. Wabi women may have multiple husbands, lovers, and parallel relationships, and it is not considered scandalous. What would happen if we ceased to regard relationships as territories to defend from external threats? What if sincerity between people became the ultimate value? The Wabi tribe demonstrates a model of love that, though it may strike many as radical, operates without resentment, without possessiveness, without the fissures that often fracture our societies. And this vision extends far beyond romantic bonds. It is a revolution in understanding freedom and desire. The Wabi invite us to reconsider our notions of control, property, and exclusivity in a world where monogamy is imposed as the sole valid paradigm. They encourage viewing love not through the prism of rigid rules, but through the lens of desire and personal liberty. And now let us turn to what may astonish even more, the fluid monogamy of the Wabi. Here, marriage is neither a lifelong prison nor an immutable contract defining one's destiny. Their marital unions are not founded on eternal fidelity and permanence. For the Wabi, marriage is a temporary bond that evolves according to the needs, desires, and circumstances of the participants. They perceive marriage not as a final destination following a period of singlehood, but as a stage that may be extended or dissolved in line with the evolution of feelings and emotional connections. In our society, it is customary to regard marriage as everything in a relationship, and vows, until death, are deemed sacred. Yet the Wabi dismantle this traditional image. They recognize that desire, love, and connection may shift over time, and that this is not a sign of waning emotion but of its growth. Imagine that you and your partner were not bound by an unbreakable promise of eternal love, for you both understand that love is a fluid sentiment subject to change. Rather than treating marriage as an unalterable pledge, the Wabi embrace it as an adventure that can take myriad forms, enriching life without determining it forever. The practice of fluid monogamy among the Wabi does not threaten familial stability, as some might think. On the contrary, it enables each family member to remain whole, free, and content. Flexibility creates room for growth, for the freedom to love, and for adapting bonds at different life stages. When discussing the Wabi tribe, one should remember, their perspective on love is profoundly human and boundlessly free. Here, love is not locked away. Marriage does not burden, but remains a perpetually reassessed agreement based on respect, attraction, and the genuine wish to be together at this particular moment in life. Instead of imposing monogamy, the Wabi allow love to flourish naturally and flexibly, like the wind across the desert, ever free, ever in motion. Their path may appear radical, yet it offers deep liberation. In a world where norms of love and marriage are often enshrined as dogma, the Wabi live with conviction. Relationships should resemble the winds of variable, adaptable, and above all free. They call upon us to cast off the shackles of convention and embrace love as it is, an adventure we undertake at our own pace, unbound by familiar fetters. Although the Wabi remain closely linked to their traditions, modern influences are already making their mark. Younger generations increasingly question certain cultural aspects, and external factors, education and technology, are gradually reshaping their customs. Nonetheless, the Wabi stand as a vibrant example of how cultures can preserve their heritage while simultaneously adapting to the currents of time. In a world where gender norms and relationship models are under constant re-examination, the Wabi prove that there are myriad ways to comprehend power, love, and freedom. The tribe reminds us that human communities possess the remarkable capacity to create unique and extraordinary systems. In their case, women have seized the reins of romantic power, and men, rather than feeling threatened, celebrate this contest as an integral part of their social existence. Life among the Wabi teaches us that power, love, and relationships need not conform to entrenched templates. There are alternative paths, on which perhaps a freer and more open worldview awaits.